I don't have a target. I need to get closer.
You need something? Have a good one.
I can't do that yet. Not ready yet. That ability isn't ready yet. Not ready yet. I'm out of range. That ability isn't ready yet. don't have a target.
Greetings. Go with honor, friend.
I supply only the finest goods. you later.
Welcome to SI, 7 Headquarters, adventurer. I am astonished. Astonished that Karen finally found a recruit that could possibly have the makings of a proper adventurer. Take this blade, adventurer. A day will come when you will be called upon again to serve the SI-7. Hone your skills, keep your eyes open, and that blade sharp. You won't see us coming, but you'll feel it when we get there.
Welcome to the Bank of Stormwind. We offer financial accounts and safety deposit boxes for valuable items. Do you already have an account with us, sir?
Safe travels.
best deals in all of Stormwind, my friend. You won't find any better. Now, what can I help you with?
For the Alliance. Need help?
I don't have a target.
Welcome to my inn, weary traveler. What can I do for you? Are you interested in exploring one of these dungeons? The dead mines can be found beneath Moonbrook in the south of Westfall. If you put on cologne or perfume, then you'll see who is amorous. Those are the ones who accept love tokens and offer a gift in return. But remember, to give someone a love token, you have to smell just right. Men like the scent of perfume, while women prefer cologne. Go with honor, friend. Welcome to my inn, weary traveler. What can I do for you?
Good day to you.
It was horrible. Verna woke me when she heard a ruckus in the fields. The fields were full of hooligans. We left in a rush, and I forgot to pack my pocket watch. Verna's PA gave me that watch on our wedding day, and I feel just sick knowing those thieves have it. I left the pocket watch in the wardrobe at the farmhouse. Look for the field of pumpkins to the west. You can't miss it. If you bring it back to me, I'd sure be grateful.
Poor old Blanchy. Such a tired beast after all the work we put her through. I fed her before we left the farm, but we weren't expecting the wagon to break on us. If you could bring her a few handfuls of oats from the fields, I'd be grateful. I bet you could find some around all of the farms in Westfall, if you can steer clear of those horrific machines that have taken over. There are several farms southwest of here.
Hello.
Looks to me you've seen quite a bit of combat in your time, adventurer. If you haven't already, you should report to Brian Stoutmantle. He heads up the People's Militia aimed at protecting the farmlands of Westfall. I bet he could use your help. You can usually find him in the stone tower on Sentinel Hill just off the road in the middle of Westfall.
Not ready yet.
My watch. Thank you so much, kind sir. We are but poor farmers, and we have lost our land, but please accept this reward as a token of our appreciation.
See you around.
Rough times, huh, adventurer? No matter where you turn, someone needs help, and my wife and I are no exception. Look at what has happened to this place. These lands were once occupied by good farm folk, but the damn thieves have driven them all off. Not me, though, but it seems some harvest watchers have taken over the fields. If you're up for the work, I'd like you to go out and kill 20 of them. Come back when you're done for your pay. If you finish up with the ones in my field, clear them from the neighboring fields as well.
The onions are peeled. The garlic is minced. The rosemary is crushed. The crust has been baked. The dill weed is chopped. The gravy is simmering. Now all I need for my famous meat pie are 8 Gortusk livers.
That ability isn't ready yet. I can't do that yet. I can't do that yet. Not ready yet. Not ready yet. I can't do that yet. That ability. I don't have a target. I can't do that yet. Not ready yet. ready yet. I can't do that yet. I need to get closer. That ability isn't ready yet. Not ready yet. I can't do that yet. That ability isn't ready yet. I can't do that yet. Not ready yet. That ability isn't ready yet. I can't do that yet. Not ready yet. I'm out of range. That ability isn't ready yet. It's too far away. Not ready yet. That ability isn't ready yet. I can't do that yet. That ability isn't ready yet. That ability isn't ready yet. I can't do that yet. Inventory is full. I can't carry anymore. Inventory is full.
Greeting. Good work, friend. You have earned your pay well. Who knows, perhaps Westfall will prosper once again. Be careful.
Carry anymore.
Like good work, friend. You have earned your pay well. Who knows, perhaps Westfall will prosper once again.
Can I help you? Be careful. Well met. See you around.
What good work, friend. You have earned your pay well. Who knows, perhaps Westfall will prosper once again. Light bless you. Greetings. Good messenger, you have served your master well. Magistrate Solomon's note pains me to read, but it is obvious he knows not the war which is waged in Westfall, or else he would know better than to expect aid from the militia. If Stormwind had not deserted us as well, we would not have the need for the militia. Take this response to your master in Redridge, adventurer, and let him know that my heart is heavy with the loss of good men. Ah, so my friend sent you here? How kind. Well, the Stormwind monarchy has abandoned our cause. Now it is up to the people's militia to keep the land free from corruption. If our cause interests you, I can put your combat skills to use in the name of freedom. The people's militia has but one goal: to defend the lands of Westfall and return peace to our surroundings. Unfortunately, the price of peace is often blood. One of my scouts has brought word of a band of Defias trappers wreaking havoc nearby. I have reports of Defias trapper sightings near the Jangle Lode mine to the northwest, as well as at the Molson Farm and Furlbrow's Pumpkin Farm. If you seek to join our ranks, slay 15 Defias trappers and 15 Defias smugglers, then return to me. The band of wretches responsible for driving the good people of Westfall from the land call themselves the Defias Brotherhood. I need you to infiltrate this clan of thugs. We need to know who heads up the cartel and where they are hiding out. In Lakeshire, in the inn, there is a rogue by the name of Wiley who owes me a favor. Travel to Lakeshire in the Red Ridge Mountains, east of Elwyn, and find out what you can. Stormwind has abandoned us. A foul wind of depravity rustles through the plains of Westfall. This was my homeland, and I will not turn my back on the citizens who choose to remain here. We, the former farmers, shall make our stand. Your task, should you choose to accept, is to patrol the grasslands of Westfall. Track down and slay the vile gnolls that seem to be working in conjunction with the Deadmines thieves. Bring me 8 gnoll paws, and I will reward your bravery. Where are you going? Well, if you're looking to get there quickly, then look no further. As if the attacking orcs weren't enough, now I have gnoll brutes and mystics prowling along the ridge north of my stable, taking my horses when they stray. If you can get rid of those gnolls, my horses and I would be very grateful. I do say, this is not good at all. I did not realize that Stoutmantle's situation was not unlike ours here in Lakeshire. What action is so important that it calls the Stormwind army away from its people? Bah, I should not ponder aloud. Here, messenger, accept these coins in exchange for your service to the township. I might call upon you again. An enemy of Stormwind has taken up residence in the eastern foothills of Redridge. This wicked villain uses the arcane to spread terror and misery upon our town and our people. Under the name Morganth, he conducts his evil business. Morganth now controls the Shadowhide Gnoll clan to perform his biddings. As stated by the law of Lakeshire, aiding a criminal of the kingdom is punishable by death. These vile gnolls must be killed. Turn in 10 Shadowhide pendants to me, and you shall be rewarded. So, Stoutmantle sent you? Well, I owe him. What I am about to tell you could cost me my life. The Defias gang is up to something big. Last I heard they were working in conjunction with various gnolls, kobolds, and even goblins. Take this note to Stoutmantle. It explains as much as I know on the subject.
You need a bouquet of flowers. You haven't been in town very long. Have you already found for yourself a sweetheart here? I know I shouldn't pry, but it's nice to see that love is in the air, especially in dangerous times like these. Here is your bouquet. I chose daffodils for you. They're my favorite. Oh, those are lovely. I can't wait to put them in some water. But those are Marty's favorite flowers. Parker didn't have you go to that jealous vixen for this bouquet, did he? You didn't tell her who they were for, did you? If you did, then it wouldn't surprise me if she poisoned them. Oh, but it's not your fault. Thank you, and here's your meal.
Farewell.
Where would you like to fly to?
Have a good one.
This comes as a big surprise to probably like maybe 2 people. E3 is over. That's it. It's done. There will be no more E3. After more than 2 decades of E3, each one bigger than the last, the time has come to say goodbye. Thanks for the memories. Dude, I remember every single year looking forward to E3, having shit totally pop off, getting excited for it, announcing it's the end of an era. It really is. This is genuinely fucking sad, man. Yeah, each one bigger than the last. Well, I'm not sure about that. COVID killed E3. Well, I think also, Mouse, this actually seems interesting.
I have a feeling. You ever question your senses? Humans always rely on their senses to perceive reality.
Now, this has been a video game that has received a tremendous amount of consideration, whether it be
see the game? It's in champs, like, you retard. Do you even play the game? Can't see the game. It's in champs, like, you retard. Do you even play the game? Can't see the game. It's in champs.
Blizzard is apparently asking players in a survey if they are fine with paying up to $100 for Diablo 4 DLC. First details about pricing inquiry, labeled A to D with price points $50, $70, and $100. Sure, to break down into the different game editions, etc. So, there's a good chance, guys, we're gonna have to spend $100 for the new Diablo 4 expansion. Option D, oh my god. No, I refuse. Yeah, I don't want to see it. Don't show it to me. I don't see it. I can't see it, boys. I don't see it. Nope. I don't know what.
Time to spread wide those cheeks, bald man.
Zaryu wants to duel me. He says in Season of Discovery. He wants to see how Mage versus Druid plays out. What a waste of time. Is he 60, by the way? Oh, I saw him. 55? What are you doing? Why is he on sod? Last online 12 days ago. I'm about to G-kick him.
This information is crucial. Good work. I wonder what Wiley meant when he mentioned the stonemasons.
12 days?
Was a slip of tongue. Could the Defias gang be related to the stonemasons? Only one man would know for sure. Matthias Shaw, head of
Bro,
SI7.
what the f are you doing?
Show him
Why are you
note and
not
see if he has
online for
anything to
12
add to this growing
days?
mystery. If you have
I
trouble
get that you're
finding
playing
Stormwind
sod, but 12 days you haven't logged on and you're not 60? What the f is going on? There's not even anything to do. It's level 25. Are you multi-classing or are you just on Mage this whole time? In which case, how have you even found the ability to play it that much? That's crazy.
How you doing, man? Good to chat.
Well, I'm annoyed because I had some bullshit obligations. I come back and one of my veterans isn't logging in for 12 fucking days. Playing some, like, what do you do at 25? Tell me what you do. What have you been doing?
I've been mainly dueling.
Okay, that's epic, man. Have you dueled anyone good, or has it been a big waste of time?
Bro, I beat Snuts a couple times today, so.
You beat a Warlock?
Yeah,
wait,
that's what I'm saying.
Wait, that's actually crazy. How'd you do that?
That's what I'm saying. I found a build, and I want to test it against you, because you're, like, one of the best druids. And, dude, in real life, I had a baby last week, like, a couple weeks ago, too, so I've been,
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. Isn't it, like, grown up at this point? Should be independent by now.
You're right. He is all grown up already, man. He's so cute, dude.
Like,
where are you going?
I'm in Ratchet.
Look no further.
All right. Congrats on the kid, but like we have a raid in 5 days. We have a guild meeting tomorrow. I assume you'll be there.
Wait, do I have to be max level for the raid?
Yes.
Wait, but I can go in Molten Core technically as a lower level.
Are you attuned?
If I'm attuned.
Okay, no, you're not doing that.
Okay,
Get 60.
Okay. Actually, I'm gonna start the day off with some bad news. Well, it's not like that bad of news. It's just like it's kind of a bummer. But the rest, like today's gonna be great. All right, I'm feeling good. It's gonna be a great stream, but kind of a bummer. I told Shannon I was gonna be taking weekends off to help with the baby, and I want to, because being there on the weekend is great. Last weekend I had the gig with Blizzard, so I streamed last Saturday because I was casting with Blizzard, okay? And the Saturday before that, SOD came out, so I also played on that Saturday. So I played the last 2 Saturdays because they were like special events, and I felt like I needed to play SOD, and I felt like I needed to cast with Blizzard because I had a contract, so that makes sense. This Saturday is the Only Things raid. On the 16th.
What's it do, homie?
I told Soda Pop and I will not be there. I'm gonna be with the family. I'm taking this weekend off. Period. That's the bummer news. I will not be raiding with Only Things at least this weekend. I might, catch up later on and do it then, but at least this weekend I will not be there. That's the news. W? Oh, we're getting W's in the chat. All right, cool. All right, cool. So yeah, that's what's going on. That's what's going on. I know it's a bit of a bummer. I've been looking forward to the raid for like the last month or 2. But I mean, yeah, there it is. I guess we're getting W's for that. So we won't be there. Yeah. But maybe we'll catch up at some point. Like we'll finish this Barbarian series no matter what. All right. With more context.
He took everything?
No, everything. And then I randomly had Crawlblade restored. So I think they vendored Crawlblade.
Wait, Crawlblade? I'll take that. Wait, no, I already have it.
But they gave it back like, it's too far. It's like,
I think it would be really funny if they just took your main hand weapon away from you too. Made
that'd
you
be.
suffer.
Oh, I actually have a backup main hand. Wait a second.
Uh-oh, little guy, where's your
Wait a
backup?
second.
Uh-oh.
Wait, where's my offhand?
Yeah, I expected you didn't. You only had a one-hander on.
Where'd you get that 3,000 gold?
On your pay? Right next to your mark in the middle?
No, that's a different one. It's gone!
You need it?
Wait, Blizzard deleted his offhand?
Wait. Where'd you get that?
Oh no.
I mean, better than getting banned.
I'm dead serious.
You're getting rolled back in real time.
So Blizzard took his gold and then deleted his gear. I think is maybe what's happening. Unless Soda accidentally vendored it or something, they might have deleted his gear. Do you think they did that? The GMs just deleted an item and took his gold to kind of be like, yo, stop it. Like a slap on the wrist. He has 3,000 gold now. Oh my gosh, you're right. He must have been hard at work farming since the last clip. Yeah, that's probably why he's an EPL. He's probably doing like an herbalism route or something to farm the gold back that he lost. All right,
Well
let's move
met.
on.
This matter might be more complex than Stoutmantle realizes. The Stonemasons Guild was run by a man named Edwin Van Cleef. Van Cleef was responsible for rebuilding Stormwind after the Orcs razed it in the First War. Apparently, Van Cleef and his men were unhappy with their treatment by the king after the reconstruction was complete. That just might explain a thing or two. I have written a more detailed account for your master in Westfall. Take this to him at once.
So I am currently fighting a cold, so I may sound a bit low energy and nasalier than usual, but we gotta talk about the day before, which I expected it to be a massive disaster, but I mean, this somehow exceeded my expectations. So this is a game that was marketed for years now, and what initial footage they showed looked mighty impressive, and it was advertised as this open world MMO survival game, almost like Last of Us meets The Division type of situation with zombies and whatnot. And it definitely looked cool, and it attracted a lot of attention, but then people noticed the delays and the fact that there was just a lack of gameplay showcases, and then there was the whole situation where like copyright issues delist the game, and eventually people started to pick up signs that this might all be a scam and that the developers really have no idea what they're doing here. Now, the fact that a game shipped at all is kind of a miracle. People thought that this game and the development studio, Fantastic, would just kind of disappear and then act like nothing ever happened, kind of like abandoned. But a game did launch on December 7th, 2023. But as you can see right here, the audience reception is less than stellar, which is what was expected. It's currently sitting at an overwhelmingly negative review score of 19% from 17,702 reviews. It is advertised as a post-apocalyptic open-world MMO survival. But what people very quickly found was that this was actually just a really ill-conceived extraction shooter. It's really not at all what was initially promised, and in fact, you can already see if you look at, say, Fantastic's YouTube channel and their official marketing material, they've removed all of those initial trailers as a means to try to hide the fact that they engaged in false marketing. And it's not even like a decent extraction shooter, it is just a completely broken and dysfunctional game that does not qualify as a product you can charge money for. If you look at the reviews, you can see plenty of people criticizing how buggy this game is, the fact that it's nothing like how the trailers showcased it, plenty of people highlighting that this game is essentially a huge asset flip. And there are plenty of links here. Well, I mean, the links have been removed for some reason, but there's somebody who straight up highlighted where all of the numerous assets you can see in the game came from and where you can purchase those assets. So that certainly doesn't help the universally negative optics surrounding this game. So disastrous was this launch that only 4 days after its release, after its December 7th launch, on December 11th, 2023, this development studio, Fantastic, announced that they'd be shutting down. I'm not kidding. So here's what that statement reads like. Today we announced the closure of Fantastic Studio. Unfortunately, the day before has failed financially, and we lack the funds to continue. All income received is being used to pay off debts to our partners. We invested all our efforts, resources, and man-hours into the development of the day before, which was our first huge game. We really wanted to release new patches to reveal the full potential of the game. I'm sorry, but what potential? This game is the equivalent of somebody taking frozen pizza and sticking it into an oven that hasn't even been preheated. To call this game underbaked would be too much of a compliment. They don't even have a proper exoskeleton of a game to build off of, really. Unless they dedicated years and years to actually making this a functional product, there's no way that even with patches, this game would live up to its full potential when it really had none. They continue, but unfortunately, we don't have the funding to continue the work. It's important to note that we didn't take any money from the public during the development of the day before. There were no pre-orders or crowdfunding campaigns. We worked tirelessly for 5 years, pouring our blood, sweat, and tears into the game. Is that supposed to make this whole situation better? You still decided to release marketing material that way overinflated the quality of this game. You still decided to deceive people, and you sold what has no right to be sold for money, all while riding on the marketing hype that you generated, the marketing hype that was nowhere near representative of the final product, and to call it a product is too generous. They continue. At the moment, the future of the day before and prop night is unknown, but the servers will remain operational. We apologize we didn't meet your expectations. That's putting it lightly. We did everything within our power, but unfortunately we miscalculated our capabilities and actively deceived. Creating games is an incredibly challenging endeavor, and yet no one with an ounce of pride or morality would ship the day before, would ship a game in that state, charge $40 or any amount of money for that matter, and then act like any semblance of sympathy from the public is deserved. They conclude with, we're grateful to everyone who supported us during these difficult years. It's been a fantastic journey over the past 8 years, and here are all of the games that they released, including 2023's The Day Before. And it's not just that the development studio shut down 4 days after The Day Before's launch, the game can also no longer be purchased on Steam as of that day. So here's what The Day Before's listing on Steam looked like at launch. And the only reason I have this is because I haven't refreshed this page. We can see right here you could purchase it for $40. But looking at the refreshed version of this listing, you can see right here that the game can no longer be bought. The buy option has disappeared completely. People are surprised that The Day Before launched at all, but now everyone's thinking it would have been better if The Day Before had never launched in the first place. Now, the publisher of The Day Before, Mitona, has come out with their own statement in which they said that they are working towards issuing refunds, stating, quote, "To all The Day Before players, as the investor of The Day Before, we would like to provide some updates on the current situation around the game. We are sorry for the fact that the game didn't meet the expectations of the majority of the players." You mean of all the players? And stop with this whole didn't meet the expectations. Stop trying to soften the blow. It didn't meet even the most basic of quality standards. Today we will work with Steam to open up refunds for any players who chose to make a refund. We're in contact with Fantastic regarding the future of the game. What future? The studio shut down. You can't buy the game. The player numbers are diminishing very rapidly. There is no hope here. Not like anyone would care to see what the future holds for this game. It's burned far too many bridges with its deceptive practices. Fantastic also issued a statement in which they assured that they're going to work towards issuing refunds, tweeting, quote, "Answer to those who ask for a refund, Mitona, and we're currently working with Steam to allow refunds for any player who chooses to request one, regardless of game time. Fantastic received $0 and will receive nothing from The Day Before sales. So at the very least, if you did spend money on this game, you'll be able to get that money back, unless this is also some kind of deception. But more of a highlight is a tweet below this one where Fantastic responded to somebody who tweeted, "Unbelievable that you guys hyped this game so much, and this is the end result. You guys are an absolute disgrace to the video game industry." Fantastic responded, and I kid you not, with this. "This was our first big experience. Shit happens." Ah, yes, you know that classic situation where the first trailer of a game looks so utterly freaking amazing and like a completely different genre to what the final product ends up being. That classic scenario where a live service and its development studio literally die 4 days after launch as a result of deception and a complete lack of quality assurance or complete lack of care of shipping anything resembling an actual proper video game. Now, we are seeing people report that they are getting refunds. So here's somebody who played 14.5 hours of the game, somehow endured that much playtime with this title and still managed to get a refund. But that doesn't really make the scenario any better. Fantastic and Mitona doing the bare minimum of what they should do in this situation for restitution does not put them in good graces all of a sudden. It's just the bare minimum what they're doing. A few more things worth noting. The Day Before has made it to the Hall of Shame listing of the worst reviewed games on Steam. It is among the top 10 currently. And then beyond that, if you look at the player count of this game, you'll find that it has very quickly plummeted from an all-time peak of 30,000 players to now a 24-hour peak of less than 3,000 players. And as of an hour ago, only 855 players. And then here is SteamDB. Their numbers are a little different, but relatively in line with what we're seeing here. I don't know which one's more accurate, but looking at both, In the case of Steam DB, we're looking at 38,000 all-time peak players, and now 24-hour peak of 3,416 players, and those playing right now, we're looking at 792 players. Not great stats. This game is very quickly plummeting into irrelevance. And that's in large part because so many customers are refunding this game. Here's Twitter user Simon Carlos, who noted that a lot of people have been refunding this title. It's had 201,000 buyers and 91,700 refunders, a 46% refund rate. And this is as of yesterday, December 11th, 2023. Who knows what that stat will look like today or days from now. We're talking about millions of dollars worth of refunds here. This kind of refund rate is frankly unprecedented. As for how the game's critical reception is faring, well, we have some reviews here on Metacritic. We have IGN, who actually scored the game based on its early access status. And apparently, according to Ryan McGaffrey here, this is the first time in about a decade that IGN has given a game a 1 out of 10. That honor goes to The Day Before. As you can see right here, they gave it a review score of 1, labeled unbearable. The Day Before is easily one of the worst games I've ever played, to the point where I'm afraid to continue running it on my PC, and if you didn't manage to try it yourself, you can probably count yourself as one of the lucky ones. You can find their more extensive verdict on the article proper, which reads, its map is lifeless, its enemies are idiotic, its PvP is an exploitable mess, its story is pointless, and its progression is downright infuriating. While the now defunct developer Fantastic said it wasn't done, certain baseline standards have been established in the years since early access became a thing, and this game met none of them. I mean, just looking at some of the gameplay footage that outlets like IGN posted, so this is like an in-game cutscene that plays during the intro portion of the game, and already you're looking at shit like this where a bunch of player characters are jumbled up together, and it's already like a hilarious mess. Beyond that, you've got Twitch clips like these that highlight some of the more hilarious bugs that you can find in The Day Before. The one redeeming quality of The Day Before is that some of the bugs might make you laugh. That's the only aspect of this game that might bring about some semblance of entertainment. But then there are other bugs that are full-on frustrating or game-breaking, like this one right here, where players just can phase through walls and get stuck behind environments or fall through the world. Yeah, I've seen this pretty frequently across numerous players. Here's somebody else who encountered the same hilarious bug of NPCs that just grow into giants. This player actually shot the NPC and this happened, so again, the game might make you laugh from time to time. That might be the only reason why it's a 1 out of 10 instead of a 0 out of 10. Here's somebody else falling through the map while watching a cutscene, an in-game cutscene. Look at that, like they didn't do anything. There was no interaction involved, they just let the game do its thing and it automatically saw the player fall through the world. Again, completely dysfunctional. And then for many players, it was impossible to get in because of server issues or because servers would often be full. So right here, for example, Spawnwave tweeted the day before launch and the servers are apparently getting crushed, can't start the game at all, though that may be its own form of mercy. We have plenty of articles like this one from Rock Paper Shotgun that's compiling quotes from people who have been sharing the issues that they've experienced with this title. No open world survival elements, it's just an extraction shooter and a bad one at that. The supposedly expansive and dynamic world feels empty, lifeless, and riddled with uninspired design. The gameplay lacks the depth and complexity suggested by the trailers, leaving players with a shallow and repetitive experience. There's no vaulting, no directional audio, making it impossible to tell where you're being shot from. So if another player is trying to take you down, you don't know where they're coming from, if they're camping out and stuff like that. So you'll just die out of the blue. No melee, which is insane for a game that's, you know, about survival and where ammo conservation is paramount. The fact that you have no other option, like no melee option, is insane. This game does not even have functioning settings. Try changing resolution, I dare you. Killed like 10 people, 9 of them disappeared in 10 seconds, couldn't even loot them. Here's another article from Polygon, also compiling what users and players have been saying about this game, namely that it's full of bugs, crashes, poor performance, and multiplayer server issues, no melee weapons, no vaulting over, or the ability to climb ladders The day before promised explorable buildings, but players have pointed out that very few of them can actually be entered. It is also apparent that the day before took shortcuts by using AI instead of artists to make things like in-game ads. The day before appears to be using AI-generated voices and scripts, but the bizarre in-game adverts are so bad they're somehow good. So aside from it being an asset flip, it couldn't even bother to hire proper artists to really flesh out the world. Instead, they relied on just very soulless AI to make things that people immediately noticed this was clearly made by AI. Right here we have a video review of the day before from GameRanks that highlights just how dumb the enemy AI is. I mean, look at this zombie just completely failing to walk into a pretty open door. You can see stutters here and there highlighting the performance issues. You can see how dumb the enemy AI is, where you don't really even have to try to evade the zombies. You can just kind of stroll backwards and they won't know what to do. Even when they catch up to you, you can see just how janky and broken everything looks. The gunplay itself is utter garbage because the reaction time, I mean, aside from just the general's lack of a sense of impact, you can see right here, zombies reacting a second after they get shot. You can see, boom. It takes a second before the zombie actually staggers backwards. So, I mean, it's terrible, just across the board. Beyond that, useless features like the ability to, like, add furniture to your own custom cabin or whatever. Like, but this is just a money sink that has no real purpose. The city itself, at times it has a sense of scale, but the reality is that the map itself is actually pretty small, and there's really nothing to do. You rarely encounter other players. You rarely encounter zombies, even. All you're doing really is walking around. It's almost like a procedurally generated Starfield planet, except even worse, somehow, where it's just barren and empty. No activities, nothing interesting to encounter. No dangers abound, really. And when you do encounter those dangers, the AI is so piss poor that it doesn't really feel dangerous. The story, the characters, all that stuff's just completely boring, irrelevant, just lacking in any semblance of intrigue. And yeah, I mean, even GameRanks encountered this bug that, again, is hilarious. But then you look at some of the more game-breaking bugs, and that's when things get out of hand. So right here we have a situation where the player accidentally clipped through an environment and got stuck inside, and basically would have remained stuck there because when you reload the game, if you try to exit and come back, you are spawned into the same location. So the only way they could get out of this was by just kind of finagling things enough where they could actually get killed by a zombie and respawn somewhere else. Otherwise, they would have just been stuck there and would have had to make a new character. So yeah, just a lot of like literally game-breaking bugs where it completely impedes your progress or your ability to play the game. There was a showcase right here of a lack of basic features like vaulting. So you can see right here, trying to jump even the smallest of ledges is impossible, so navigation is a pain in the ass. You often get stuck, and just traversal itself is just awful. Water just straight up kills you, which is something the game never teaches you. For some reason, it just kills you. Oh, here we have clips of this player loading into the game only to find that the resolution is all off for some reason, and then when they did manage to correct that and, you know, find a server they could log into, the first thing that happened was they phased through the open world and just got spawned in, falling in an endless abyss of nothing. As for what the community discourse is like surrounding this game, well, let's take a look at the Discord here for the game, which is on fire. People spamming that it's a scam. People just trying to have what fun they can have with this complete shit show. Now, where things get even more egregious is the way Fantastic and its CEO are trying to essentially try to hide the evidence, going to hiding, and take no responsibility or accountability whatsoever. So Nick Calandra here, for example, pointed out that if you needed any more indication the day before is a scam, the CEO of Fantastic has nuked himself from Twitter, and not just from Twitter, but also from LinkedIn, And then beyond that, Nick noticed that they've completely wiped their YouTube channel, where they put up a bunch of false marketing for the game, all of those trailers that showed a much better, essentially fake vertical slice footage. The website has been nuked as well. This is all you'll find now, the statement that they provided. But aside from trying to nuke all evidence, they're also trying to rebrand and be deceptive once more. As noticed by Twitter user Connor here, Fantastic is trying to hide its identity by rebranding to 8 points for the game The Wild 8. It's getting slammed with negative reviews, warning people that the game was released by scam artists. And you can actually see this for yourself if you go to SteamDB, where it shows the history of Fantastic changing its name to 8 points. And if you go to Steam right now, you can see that there's this game called The Wild 8 that was made by developer 8 points, which is in reality Fantastic. It's them just trying to hide the fact that they are the now infamous, notorious, and disgraced company that engaged in some of the most shameless false marketing we've ever seen and launched one of the most shameless products in gaming history. But people are not letting this slide, which is why recent reviews for this game have been mostly negative, warning people that this is Fantastic, that these are essentially scam artists, and to not support any of their products. So yeah, as far as recent developments surrounding The Day Before, that's everything you need to know. Now, if you want to know everything leading up to the launch of The Day Before, I made this video titled The Bizarre Case of The Day Before and Why the Internet Thinks It's a Scam, published back in March of 2023, where I highlighted articles like this one, where the development studio behind The Day Before insisted that they're not a scam, that aged like milk sitting in a car on a hot summer day. In that video, I also highlight all the different trailers that were released throughout the course of The Day Before's development cycle. Fortunately, because these have been uploaded elsewhere, Fantastic can't just hide the evidence. You can see right here that the announcement trailer for this game looked frickin' gorgeous. I mean, this looked like a game one would want to play if it actually existed. The gameplay, the visuals, everything, the atmosphere looked far superior to what we got in the final game. But of course, this was just fake bullshit. This is nowhere close to what we ended up getting. And throughout the course of, 2 years or whatever, we got tons of gameplay that was not representative of the final product at all. Stuff that looked pretty cool, pretty interesting, ambitious, and, people are always willing to give up-and-coming studios and indie developers a chance. Here we have a trailer involving a mall. I don't think any of this made it into the final game. I remember how impressed people were at the scale of this interior space and the visual fidelity of all this. Jesus Christ, they really duped everyone, didn't they? And then Nvidia did RTX on videos based on The Day Before. The amount of marketing that this game got is actually insane, especially from major outlets like IGN. But things started to take a turn for the worse roughly 10 months ago, when a new gameplay footage showed a gameplay representation that was far inferior to what we had seen months and years back. And this gameplay right here showed just very little in the way of like zombie shooting gameplay, and you can see right here the likes to dislikes ratio took a turn for the worse. Before people, started to get a bad feeling about all this and began to sense that this game was likely not going to live up to expectations. I mean, you can see just what a vast difference there is between the 2021 announcement trailer and the 2023 gameplay footage. And even between the 2023 gameplay footage and what we got now, it is still a night and day difference. Every year, it just degraded significantly in terms of visual quality and just gameplay, everything. Every aspect of this game just degraded over the course of its development years. And then came the delays. People were initially understanding when they announced that the game would be delayed to shift to Unreal Engine 5 and stuff like that. But as the delays continued throughout the course of 2022 and then into 2023, impatience began to permeate. And then beyond that, there were shady elements like how they were calling for volunteers to help with the project, which is not only extremely exploitative, like labor-wise, it's just morally rather questionable, but also it called into question the experience of these developers if they needed volunteers to make this game work. At that point, people were wondering whether this is a development studio and a game that could be trusted to live up to the high quality that the initial trailers seemed to show. And then came the whole situation where The Day Before was delisted from Steam. Initially, Fantastic said that it was a bug, but then they put out a statement where they said that it was a copyright issue because of a calendar app with the same name. And that actually turned out to be true. There's this calendar app called The Day Before. But beyond this being a major oversight, the fact that the game so shortly before its originally intended release date was delayed by an additional 9 months, this raised all kinds of red flags. It was delayed from March of 2023 to November 2023, and it ultimately ended up coming out in December of 2023. It didn't help matters that around that time, The Day Before's lead Discord mod said that because they hadn't seen any gameplay, they don't even really know for sure if the game is real. The lead mod of the Discord was questioning the reality of this game. And amidst this whole situation where people were now questioning Fantastic's competence or whether any of their endeavors were even real, they had the audacity to come out and say that we all live in a time of disinformation and lack of fact-checking. This coming from the studio who engaged in one of the worst false marketing campaigns that gaming has ever seen. Disinformation needs to be dealt with. Don't disagree with you there, Fantastic, but also have you tried looking at yourself in the mirror? They even went out of their way to speak to news outlets like IGN, insisting that the 9-month delay was planned before the Day Before calendar app trademark dispute, and just insisted that this was not a scam. They decried claims that it's a scam. It didn't help matters that people began to notice that The Day Before, in its trailers and its marketing material, held off other people's work. So the trailer here, official 10 minutes gameplay trailer for The Day Before, for example, features a shot that's pretty much identical to that of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Plenty of stuff pulled from Last of Us, namely the key visual for the game's title art. And eventually we started to see major news outlets like IGN just kind of document the strange saga of The Day Before. And there are plenty of YouTubers like Force Gaming here who has followed this whole situation quite extensively. With Force Gaming in particular, noting how the folks at Fantastic would often, when they advertised The Day Before, they would also try to shoehorn in marketing for their other games like Prop Night here. So the speculation was that The Day Before didn't actually exist, that it was a scam mainly intended to get people hyped so to tune into any sort of marketing elements of The Day Before. That was a speculation, but ultimately The Day Before was a real product, but that doesn't mean it wasn't a scam. But at least we can now bring this whole saga to a close. Plenty of people were just wondering, what the hell is this The Day Before thing? And is it ever going to launch? And but now we can actually put a bow on it. We know this now to be one of the greatest scams and disasters in gaming history. And the way this all played out, from the game's launch to a 4-day period after which the studio got shut down, the game is no longer accessible for purchase, and it's on its way to essentially burying itself 6 feet under. Even by games industry standards, this is a rather unprecedented and unique situation that is worth documenting and worth learning from. Next time something seems too good to be true and red flags rise up like this, the way it did for The Day Before, we should be rightfully apprehensive and trust our instincts when they tell us that something's not right about this. Or at least that's one man's take. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on this whole The Day Before situation. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.
A couple of years ago, The Day Before kind of came out of the middle of nowhere. I kind of equate The Day Before with another game which kind of came out of the middle of nowhere and got so much eyes, and that was Abandoned. A PlayStation 5 horror game, which at first a lot of people thought it was connected to Hideo Kojima, Silent Hills, and it wasn't any of that. It still hasn't released. It looks like it's vaporware at this point, and it looks like a small indie team that got way in over their head, and that kind of is how the feelings I have with The Day Before. This is a game that I was planning on discussing at some point earlier this year. I had a whole outline and everything, just other things came up, so I moved on from that, but it just came back on the radar in recent days because of so much controversy surrounding it. And I've been saying this for the longest time. I may have said this in video form, I'm not sure if I have, but this looked like a blatant scam from the get-go. It was one of those gameplay trailers that you watch and you're just like, this looks way too good to be true. And especially the development team, there's not much known about these guys, and there really isn't much indication that they'll be able to pull that off. I think the last time we felt that was kind of with Atomic Hearts. It didn't really turn out that way, fortunately. But just usually when you see that stuff with these gameplay trailers, they show off so many impressive gameplay mechanics. The initial thought is, well, that's interesting. Hopefully this isn't scripted nonsense, and yeah, a lot of it was scripted nonsense. So back in 2021, we had this trailer. The gamer actually has this outline. The day before introduces off-road gameplay full of SnowRunner vibes. It looked like the dream survival open world MMO that a lot of people have been waiting for. Something a little better than, say, DayZ or even Rust. Those are the comparisons people have made. And then there's also elements of The Division. So many popular games here. That's why a lot of people were initially like, okay, I gotta put this on the radar. This looks quite impressive. But as this article from The Gamer points out, the day before came out of nowhere at the end of this January by the Wild 8 developer Fantastic, and it quickly drew players' attention. And again, everything about it, the third-person shooter basis, stealth, crafting system, survival elements, and even both PvP, PvE, it was describing everything that players wanted. Now, the problems that really started right off the back, because this is another thing that quickly drew to attention the year after. It was the fact that Fantastic developers of Steam's most wish-listed game the day before updated their website to say that they are an organization comprised of both paid and unpaid volunteers. You can apply to work for them for free to help them deliver their projects, and this was on their website. It's no longer on their website because of the recent events. We'll get to all of that as this video develops, but yeah, they're trying to get unpaid labor to take part in this, which got a lot of people scratching their head a little bit. And yeah, Kotaku covered it. MMO Studio wants unpaid volunteers to make Steam's most wishlisted game. Then there was a lot of attention on the trailers and everything else that came to be, because a lot of people started to pay attention to the marketing material, and also the fact that there wasn't a lot of gameplay being shown by Fantastic as the release date started to draw closer and closer. As another popular YouTuber here points out, I'm more surprised this game is legal. This is obviously The Division and the day before. They're just blatant with their theft here. It's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, as you can see, these screenshots, they were clearly going for it. This is Resident Evil here, but they're just copying all of these popular AAA games and their marketing material. And then, as Skillab actually pointed out, this was earlier this year. This is what got a lot of people very curious. Fantastic making it sound like they're doing us a special favor by releasing actual gameplay of their video game, and yeah, it took them a long time just to release a new gameplay trailer, and then that gameplay trailer drew a lot of attention because of how downgraded it looked versus the 2021 footage. But another thing, the day before, studio co-founders deny scam allegations. They have been consistent about denying it, but there's been so much proof, we're going to get to all of that, that this has literally been a blatant scam. This is something that I knew from the get-go, to be fair. Post-apocalyptic survival game the day before has been removed from Steam. This was again earlier this year, an issue which developer Fantastic called a bug caused by a minor technical difficulty, then later claimed was a copyright complication. There was a whole mess with this game at one point because I guess they didn't obtain the copyright to this name, so I wasn't even sure if this was going to release under this name, but eventually, obviously, they figured that out, I suppose. But as I said, the marketing material in these recent videos of the last year, very blatant with their theft of more popular games. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and then here we have the day before copying that scene. Well, another one, Black Ops Cold War.
To kill Vegas is no easy task. I imagine one day you'll be fighting
another scene that they stole
on the Alliance front.
It's really weird why they couldn't make a trailer. This is just weird theft in my opinion. Also, more and more red flags. Another one, this one coming from let's see what game this is. The Last of Us, which already they stole the kind of the theme with their name, their logo, I should say. And yeah, as you can see, The Last of Us the day before, pretty blatant, and we talked about this just a second ago. Another one, this is why people have called this an asset flip for the longest time, because literally they're using so much assets in them. And look, with indie games this happens. This isn't a huge deal. But the problem is of how many they're using, and we'll again get to that as this video goes. And somebody actually has gameplay of them literally stealing, let's see. Yeah, as you can see, the footage we just went over, or the screenshots. Yeah, pretty obvious. And like I said, it's not just a couple of games that they've ripped off, and all of their gameplay trailers and videos, they've ripped off so many. We have Red Dead Redemption 2, they had like a narrator which sounded almost exactly alike. And then we continue, Grand Theft Auto 5, again stealing scenes and such. Cyberpunk 2077, they used literal word for their marketing, saying immerse yourself in the day before. That was a big thing with Cyberpunk. And then, again, this is what I talked about before. The gameplay that we had earlier this year that they showed off, it just looked like a massive downgrade. We're going to look through a little bit of this.
Yep. I'll find out what...
I will also point out, I always hate when gaming companies do this, just period, having fake dialogue.
Skyscraper. Okay, and I'll look around here. Let's see what we have here. Alright. I have found a great cowboy hat.
I mean, the thing is also, you could just look at the open world. It looks so detailed. It looks so fun to explore. And then this was the gameplay video that they uploaded earlier this year. I believe it was downvoted. I'm not sure. Don't take my word at that, but it just looks so much more dead. And again, this was 10 months ago. Remember that, please.
Cowboy.
Listen up. This is Woodbury Survival.
It just seems so much more lively. And here's some actual zombies. This is my point. They actually seem like a threat.
The world of the day before is teeming with hungry...
Even then, in that footage, you can see that they don't look like a threat. But anyway, you kind of get the point with that. This was 10 or 11 months ago, and now here we are at the release date. And as Fantastic took to Twitter the other day, or actually a couple days ago, after 5 years of blood, sweat, and tears, we can finally say these words: the day before is out now. And yeah, they were celebrating. They also had this big this statement. Again, they wanted people to stop accusing them of us being an asset flip. That's not true. Also, our team worked day and night for 5 years to make our dream game a reality. Please don't accuse us of scamming. That's not true. We didn't take a penny from anyone. That's not true. And yeah, just a very sketchy statement. All the things that they've been saying the last couple of years, I never believed this was a real deal. The fact that it actually released, say what you will, I'm actually surprised by that. But yeah, the day before, overwhelmingly negative, and you can't even buy the game anymore because of the recent events, everything that's been going on. And scam game, that's the word that everybody has described with it. Now, I myself did not have the displeasure of playing this experience, but I've seen enough gameplay to understand that it is exactly what I expected it to be. It's not an open world MMO a la, like, say, DayZ or such. It was actually an extraction shooter, which they denied in multiple times. We'll get to those in a second, some of the statements and so much that they've been saying over the years. Let's see what else. It was also a poorly done extraction shooter. There was like 2 extraction zones which were just camped by players. It was a mess. It was a broken mess, which clearly shows these developers were in over their head. There was no persistent progression system, no story content really after the tutorial, just AI generated content which was really boring. There was a useless ranch building mechanic. NPC interactions sounded AI-like, at least the writing with it. The world, again, it was static, it was boring, no weather, nothing that looked as interesting as that original 2021 footage. There was very little UI in this game, very weird. The inventory mechanics seemed to be the entire game, which is, I think, a major problem. The economy seemed to be broken with horrific, dumb prices for cars. There's lazy animations, some just non-existent animations for some explosions and stuff. The gunplay was bare bones. It actually looked like it barely was functional. Assets mostly were used from the Unreal Engine store, which is hilarious when they say they've been working on this for 5 years. Maybe they've been working on implementing those assets, but very little effort was put into this scam. The zombie AI is also pathetic. The few that actually are even in the game that you can find, all you have to do is jump on something and the zombies are so stupid that they don't do anything. There's tons of bugs that were never fixed. You saw some of the memes with some of the huge like NPCs that would blow up. There was constant FPS issues, crashes, broken servers. That is the day before. This is the game that it really is unfortunate, but I just knew that this was coming eventually. And yeah, IGN gave them, I think this is the only reviewer that actually has published a review for this. They gave it a 1, saying that it was unbearable. The Day Before is easily one of the worst games I've ever played, to the point where I'm afraid to continue running it on my PC. And if you didn't manage to try it out yourself, you can probably count yourself as one of the lucky ones. And yeah, I consider myself lucky. And then if you didn't know, immediately people, they bought the game, they played it for a little bit, and they dipped on out. As of 19 hours ago, 50% of the purchases were refunded on the game. Lifetime Steam units, 200,000 and minus 91,000. Ouch. And that's only going to continue, again, based on the recent events. And as of right now on Steam, it only has around 700 players. That'll be almost 0 by probably the end of the week. And people were already demanding immediately once this game went live to delist it, report it as a fraud, because it literally is that. False advertising, so many things. Again, this was one of the developers or somebody who represents the company who defended them, saying it is not an extraction game. It literally is just that. Terrible at that as well. Adding this in after recording, but I thought I'd just specifically mention the fact that the developers have deleted a lot of their social media stuff. The Discord server for this game is gone. Their website has pretty much gone. Their YouTube, they scrubbed it completely. It's like they're trying to disappear. And then people were making fun of the fact that 5 years development, they pointed out again. The entire city map is a $300 Unreal Engine pack you can get right now. The devs legit only made the Barnhouse main hub and player items. The map, assets, everything isn't theirs. 5 years for the wait, and again, a connection to the Unreal Engine store. And this continues. Somebody actually pointed this out on the Steam page, and I guess it was removed by Fantastic while they were trying to save some face, I guess. But yeah, this person literally outlined all of them, all of these different assets. And it isn't just a couple, guys. They literally were just, everything original came from that store. Nothing was original, I should say. I don't know what they were doing for 5 years except just buying stuff off that store, which I understand. I said this earlier. Some indie developers are going to use stuff like that. That's fine. That's understandable. But on this scale, it's just fucking ridiculous in my opinion. And that leads us finally to what all of you have seen by now. We did get this official statement in which originally, I think Fantastic of you, let's go to their Twitter account. Let me see if I can get there. Let's see. Yeah. Right around launch, they were talking about patching it up, working some updates, improvements. They were going to be coming. They were working, and then they just gave the fuck up. They said never mind with that shit, which probably for good reason. Also because I think they just want to take that money and run at this point. Today we announced the closure of the Fantastic Studio. Unfortunately, the Day Before has failed financially, and we lack the funds to continue. All income received is being used to pay off debts to our partners. This is the part which got a lot of people like, holy crap, report them to the authorities or somebody, holy moly. And that's probably why Steam or Valve probably jumped in immediately, and I believe Valve this was on their part to cause people not to buy the game anymore. If not, but just everything about this, so sketchy. And then they furthermore go on saying, we invested all of our resources, man hours into development of the Day Before, which was our first huge game. We really wanted to release new patches to reveal the full potential of the game, but unfortunately we don't have the funding to continue the work. I don't think they really ever had a plan after this. I don't know how you look at the last 3 years or so with all the controversy that has surrounded this game, and they didn't expect people to be extremely skeptical when this released. I just don't know how they envisioned this ever working out, which is why I think that this was always the plan: to release it, get as much money as possible after some people just choose not to refund. But we'll see how that plan pans out, I suppose. It's important to note that we didn't take any money from the public during the development of the Day Before. There was no pre-orders or crowdfunding campaigns. We worked tirelessly for 5 years, pouring our blood, sweat, and tears. You used a bunch of assets. there's very little evidence that you did too much except for misleading in your marketing, which that's what I absolutely fucking hate about this post. You guys lied for years. There was so much fraud, deceit. That's probably gonna be the title of this fucking video. These people are frauds. They should never have any sales in this gaming industry, and they should fuck off and do absurdity. Just ridiculous. And then they say at the moment the future of the day before and some other game they worked on is unknown, but the servers will remain operational. We apologize, blah 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 blah. And they talk about their history. Who gives a shit at this point? And we did see the publisher. I didn't know. Mitona is apparently a Russian publisher, which why got a lot of people with their eyebrows went up a little bit like, huh, that's kind of interesting. They say, as the investor, the publisher of the day before, we'd like to provide some updates. We are sorry for the fact that the game didn't meet the expectations. Today we will work with Steam to open up refunds for any players who choose to make a refund. And then we're in contact with Fantastic regarding the future of the game. And then IGN published another article about this, saying that in a statement issued at IGN, a Fantastic spokesperson confirmed that the developer and its publisher Mitona are working with Steam to open up refunds to any players who want one, regardless of game time. And as you may see by that IGN article, they've also been responding to some comments on Twitter, saying that shit happens. It's a bit of an understatement, guys. This was actually a response to this guy saying, unbelievable that you guys hyped this game up so much, and this is the end result. You guys are an absolute disgrace to the video game industry. I'd say so. They also take the top honor of having the worst game in this year, and that is a mighty achievement with the amount of contenders that we have this year. From that terrible King Kong game, Kong Skull Island, Gollum, Redfall, and a number of other examples I'm forgetting. But they said this was our first big experience, shit happens, and that's an understatement. And, you know, this excuse doesn't exactly work either when, again, you've spent years false advertising. Oh, these people, these companies, man. And then it is worth noting that they also may be attempting to get away from their Fantastic branding, which may be them trying to continue and just ignore this horrific game that they launched. And I do want to point out, if you go to Fantastic, you open up the developer, let's go to their Steam page, you'll see that, again, they've published a couple of games, and now we'll go to Wild 8, and I believe some people have pointed out that this was said Fantastic, and they've changed it to 8 points. I think some people have shown the Steam DB, some of the back-end stuff, so they're trying to separate their other games from the day before, which is just extremely scummy in my opinion, and shows that they knew that they were going to fuck up with this, in my opinion. But yeah, as they say, way back when on Kickstarter, Wild 8 was listed and it was funded more than asked. It was developed by 8 Points, originally founded and named after the 8 developers working there at the time. Later on in 2017, further along in development, an announcement is made, they're rebranding to Fantastic. And yeah, now they've apparently changed back to 8 Points because they want to separate from this company that is now a disgrace to this industry. It is important to also understand that it's not just gamers that are outraged by this. We've also seen some of the notable open-world MMOs responding to the situation. We had DayZ mocking them, saying, today we want to primarily celebrate for no reason at all the remarkable 10th anniversary of DayZ. This is the statement that mocks them, which is kind of hilarious because of everything that's happened now. We also did see Rust copy this and just laughing about this, but unfortunately, I don't think any of this is a laughing matter. This is just very disappointing to see. This is yet another example why gamers cannot trust these companies, especially in terms of marketing, AAA or indie or whatever. That's why I'm always skeptical. That's why when I saw that trailer, I initially thought to myself, it looks impressive, but something about this is just so off, especially with the team. You know nothing about them. And, well, I was proven right here at the end of 2023. It's unfortunate it took this long, but from the get-go, I had a feeling it was a scam, and as everything that we've learned about this game the last year or two, it looked more and more like a scam, and then it released to confirm that it was, in fact, a scam. So, very disappointing to see, but did you have the displeasure to play the day before? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below on this disaster of a release, and do you consider this the worst game of 2023? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, but thank you for watching. Make sure to consider subscribing for more videos like this, and I'll see you later.
got new merch. Okay, guys, so check out these beanies. These beanies are high quality.
Very high quality.
Yeah, I love them so. I love the way they turned out, dude. These, if you're not cool if you don't have one.
You're not cool if you don't have one. We're back to the old school, the OG. Our OG faces on here. It says Bad Friends on the back. Turn around and show them what it looks like on the back.
Here we are. The day's arrived, okay? This was honestly one of the most surprising announcements at the Game Awards, was that we were getting a free DLC expansion, whatever you want to call it, for God of War Ragnarok. Like, we had all been talking about an expansion or DLC for Ragnarok because, in my view, it just made sense. Like, they gave Atreus all these abilities. They clearly set it up for Atreus to go off and do some other stuff. So I thought we were going to get an Atreus DLC. That's not what this is. This is allegedly, according to the devs, like an epilogue to the story of the game that has some story components, but it's a roguelike mode that offers you the chance to get back involved with combat and all that stuff. I've not seen anything about this. I don't know what it's like. It just launched about 15 minutes ago, so who knows what it's actually like. Well, I know who's going to know. We are, because we're actually going to buy it. So, when you load into the game, there's now an option for Valhalla, and you can select it by itself. I don't know if you have to finish the game. Oh, is it gonna make us down? Mother. Yeah, we might have to do some just chatting for a little bit. It had a 3 gig update, and then it still has another download. Okay, well, we'll do this real quick. It's already at 2%. Okay, we're on our way. Okay, it's going very, very quickly. Okay, it's gonna be fine. But I don't know if they only unlock this once you've finished the game, or if this is something that you can just launch into even if you haven't finished. I'm not sure. I also don't know what the extent of like story spoilers are going to be. So I don't know how much of a story spoiler warning to give you. It is an epilogue, so spoiler alert, Kratos is alive, but I think that was already revealed in the trailer for this at the Game Awards, because Kratos is in the trailer and then they say it's an epilogue, so it would take a genius to put 2 and 2 together, but there you go. Do I have the PS5 Elite controller? Yes, we're going to be playing with the DualSense Edge. Sony sent this to me, and while I appreciate it and I think it's very sturdy and well built, I think it's ridiculous to pay $200 for this. Compared to the flexibility of like the Elite Series 2, I just think that it's kind of outrageous to spend that much money on this. It's going to download the PS4 version. So it downloads the PS5 version and the PS4 version. That's weird. Okay. The following is meant to be experienced after the completion of God of War Ragnarok and will contain spoilers. Do you wish to proceed? I do. I do wish to proceed. So, just everybody be prepared. Spoiler warning. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, difficulty option. Show me will. Show me.
I can't carry anymore.
Show me will. Show me courage. Sorry, I can't read. Show me resolve. Show me courage. Show me prowess. Show me mastery.
So, in standard roguelike fashion, the harder you go, the more rewards you get. Interesting. It says Valhalla is a combat-focused adventure that rewards overcoming challenge. You are encouraged to change difficulties during the experience to find an ideal level of enjoyment. Interesting. And also the devs tweeted out, I think yesterday, they said that in the studio, the final boss encounter, like the final thing at the end of this, no one at the development studio, no one at Sony Santa Monica has been able to finish that boss fight on Show Me Mastery, which is freaking hilarious. For one, I have like, I just would have assumed that developers would be like, okay, you have to finish every boss fight. We have to finish every boss fight before we release the game, because we don't want to release something that's unbeatable, right? Like, we don't want to do something like that. We have to at least beat it ourselves to know it's possible. But apparently, they haven't even beaten the final boss on that difficulty, which is freaking hilarious. So I guess in chat, I want to hear everybody's predictions for how long it takes, like an hour, A day? How long does it take before we see clips of somebody beating that final boss on the hardest difficulty? I'm gonna guess... Because there's probably people that went back and replayed the game in the last 5 days to prepare for this, so they're probably fresh. I'm gonna be very rusty. So maybe, you know what, I'm gonna say tomorrow morning we'll see clips going around of somebody finishing that boss. I think it's gonna take till tomorrow morning, but I don't think it'll take that long. Peaceful chip, 15 hours. Okay, that's probably pretty close, yeah. 7 hours, 4 hours, a couple of hours, definitely by the end of the day. See, my thing is, like, I've seen people that are very, very good at God of War's combat, and those people have probably gone back and replayed the game and gotten really fresh with it, so they're just gonna plow through this. So, I don't know. I guess we should just recommended starting combat difficulty. Okay, we'll do recommended, and we'll just go there. But it's an interesting concept. Like a free update. Oh, we have that Last of Us loading screen. And here we are. This is just the trailer. I'm gonna be real, when we saw this trailer at the Game Awards, I thought it was gonna be Death Stranding 2, because the water looked like Decima Engine.
Oh, nothing that would help us. Tell me, brother, why exactly are we doing this?
I don't know. The invitation. So it seems like it assigns you a starting set of equipment. I'm not sure if this is the same equipment I had equipped at the end of my run. An invitation. Like, this was really not on my bingo card for this year, honestly. It was a free update to God of War. That's like a single player expansion. Not on my bingo card. Oh, you lose all your stuff. You start at 0.
Back to basics then.
Yep. That's funny. Yeah, you just go straight back to nothing. Okay. Well, I mean, standard roguelike stuff. You go back to basics, and every time you run it, you start over. Controls, under lessons. No, we're gonna crash and burn. Who needs refreshers? Fast expanse. I wonder how varied the levels are gonna be. If they're all gonna be kind of like this, or if we're gonna get some really different stuff.
As our cue to turn around and leave.
Can you imagine? She's like, okay, I'm good. Kratos can read now?
Master myself. A more poetic way of putting it, but yes.
Just squeeze really hard.
I may not appreciate our breaking in.
Yeah, dude, for real. Hello? Okay. The shield can't open, so I can't parry, I don't think. Yeah, I just won't. Okay. So no parrying. Okay.
The sort of foes I expected to encounter here. Curious. Seems it's the way of this place to offer the unshot.
Drastically increases the power of General's advance and General's deception skills. Scoring a successful precision throw with the axe has a luck chance to cause a stun blast. Which to do? Forward pressing. R1 to bash for a blunt end of the spear. I mean, it drastically increases the power. I think drastic is probably the one we want to do. View and menu. Okay. So glyph types, weapon glyphs empower weapons, and perk glyphs provide unique effects. Okay. Status or stats glyphs increase Kratos' attributes for this attempt. Okay. It's standard. Okay. Standard stats. Chest symbols. Each chest has a floating symbol indicates the type of reward inside. Symbols overview. Stats, weapon, runic, mixed, refill, fleeting echoes, mastery, seal, spirit seal, divine triumph. Okay.
At least you're not going in completely hobbled.
I wonder how long this actually is. Does anyone in chat know if they've said how long this actually is? Oh, right, I can't parry. That's important to know. Can't parry. Okay, heavy runic attack. Dropping down running into multiple spheres. An array of chaotic cyclones rampages through the battlefield, damaging all enemies in their path. 2 stun, 250 seconds. We're gonna go with the more frequent one. I think that's what we're gonna do. That's what we gonna do. 8 to 10 hours is what they said. Okay, wow. Okay. Oh yeah, we warped to a totally different area. Love that. Okay, a little different vibe. This was my main concern, was just I didn't want...
the last remaining pocket of Asgard. Something unreal about it, though.
Yeah, this is kind of cool.
That seems peaceful. Have a look around.
I was worried it would all just look very samey, but it looks like we're actually going to get slightly different ones.
You did us, talk sense into you. Win-win either way, really. I certainly can't see how there's any benefit to avoiding her. Brother, you've gone to bloody Valhalla to avoid her. At least be honest with yourself.
It's not her I'm avoiding.
I'm avoiding myself.
Well, that I believe. And nice to hear you admit, frankly. I think she values you as well, in her way.
She finds me useful. It is not the same.
Is that really what you think?
I do not believe she understands what she asks of me.
I don't think so either. Kratos feels unappreciated. Okay, so maybe this door. Oh god. I keep trying to dodge with circle. I don't think I can use a shield strike because I don't have my shield. I thought that was the whole point. I thought that was the whole point, guys. Romance? Oh, dude, if there's a romantic scene. I don't think there would be.
We're back outside.
You just toss the head on the ground.
You marched into
Oh.
Valhalla without even talking to us first?
Nice to see you too, Millie.
No.
Not take you from your duties.
You breached Valhalla. Consider it worth my time. This entrance is secret. Who told you of this place?
just point at Mumia.
Nailed to our door 3 days ago.
Smash X for romance.
Kratos of Sparta, you are hereby invited to a challenge. Face the past, face the future. Master Valhalla, master thyself. Then directions here. No synergy.
Who else knows of this engines?
Odin and us. It's likely a trap.
You're thinking of coming back in.
Would you join me?
Oh, don't let me intrude on your personal matter.
Sup? Complexity of this cannot be understated or cannot be overstated. And now I'm hearing a guy just be like, yeah, so you can have like a table and like you just take into these things. And
real quick. I just want to be absolutely sure on something before we move on today, though, because it's actually the greatest thing that has ever happened in World of Warcraft ever. Did you guys see what Zico did the other day? Because it's just...
I've said a lot. Hype makes you stupid. And I don't mean that to be insulting to anybody. I say it because hype puts up blinders. And when you're hyped for something, you stop seeing the warning signs, you stop seeing concerning stuff with it, and instead, you just buy into the most bare bones marketing jargon that these executives put out without so much as a second thought. We saw it with Starfield in full form when I was like, hey, believe it or not, the Creation Engine 2, still the Creation Engine. It's going to have all the problems that the Creation Engine has. Nothing's going to magically change because it's the same thing it's always been. You know, that I can't believe I have to say this, but that's what it's going to be. And I got hate for it. I've talked about this before, but there was a creator I was going to do a collaboration with on the Creation Engine 2, and I had talked to them about it, and we were going to do it. And basically, they were like, so what exactly do you want to do on the video? And I was like, I want to debunk the idea that the Creation Engine 2 is going to be this crazy revamp of the engine. I want to go through how it's just marketing crap that they're trying to say it's a brand new engine that's going to be totally different. I think it's going to have all of the same issues as the Creation Engine from Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. It's just marketing to rewrap it as the Creation Engine 2. And he backed out and basically ghosted me for the collaboration because he had bought into the marketing hype as well. And now a lot of those videos that creator made back then don't look very good because obviously it was just marketing, and all of those problems with the Creation Engine are still there today. So, you know, I don't hate to blinders up, and he wasn't able to see the forest for the trees, right? As the saying goes. He was so fixated on this one individual thing he was really excited for, he forgot and couldn't see the broader picture. So, with this, I'm seeing the warning signs. There's not just warnings. There's like, you know, the opening of, yeah, it's this. Okay, this isn't just a red flag. Okay, this is like the Les Miserables, full-on flag swinging from the top of the barricade. This is what we're dealing with right now. Okay, just oceans of red flags. Okay, that's what we're dealing with. Specifically with Light No Fire. Now, I want to say, Light No Fire seems interesting, okay? This is the next game coming from Hello Games. These are the guys that did No Man's Sky, which obviously had a lot of hype around it. And so a lot of people are very, very interested in this. And let's be honest, they have done an amazing job, a phenomenal job of winning back players and turning around No Man's Sky. I mean, it started as just a travesty, and they've turned it into an incredibly impressive and vast in scope game. There's a ton there. Like, there's so much with No Man's Sky, I don't even know how you would begin breaking it down for new players. It's ridiculously huge, and they've added a ton of stuff. I mean, it's very, very impressive. So now they're talking about their next game that they've been working on for 5 years with a small team. According to Sean Murray, they said it's around, I think he said 12 people working on it, so that's interesting. He talked about this at the Game Awards and then shared a trailer, and there were some jokes. I mean, Jeff was like, oh no, here it goes. Here we go again, it's starting again. And everybody's kind of joking about him over-promising and under-delivering. But I think the joke is not being like acknowledged by a lot of people, and a lot of people are just they're just I think they're starting to fall. Maybe fall for it is not the right term. I think Sean Murray isn't trying to deceive anybody. I think he just has a problem with setting reasonable expectations, and he's very good at selling games for somebody that's not a salesman, but he gets himself into trouble a lot because with gamers, especially the types of gamers that this type of game appeals to, you have to be very, very on top of it and very specific with what is in the game, what isn't. Scope, understanding this is being made by 12 people, it's not going to be ridiculously massive, okay? Like, we just have to be very clear. So, this is the trailer that they dropped. We'll just go through it real quick, and then we're gonna talk about what we actually are seeing. A multiplayer Earth. So before he announced this, how he described it was that it's like No Man's Sky, but sort of inverted. So No Man's Sky is about giving you a universe, galaxies and galaxies of stars and planets to explore. This is like that, but flipped on its head. And so it's an Earth-sized planet to explore. And frankly, I think this would have been a much better thing for like Bethesda to do for Starfield. I think if they had done this and given you a massive sci-fi planet to explore, or a few, that would have been way better than 1,000 planets that were all really uninteresting. And already just here, I mean, what you're seeing on screen now, I think is more interesting visually and in terms of biomes and setup. I think this is way more interesting than anything you see in No Man's Sky. In No Man's Sky, it's all like very little variability. It's like, oh, this planet looks kind of red and has these weird purple trees, and then this planet is kind of blue with green trees. It's just not very varied. So I think this looks really compelling, and apparently it is a planet, I believe he implied, larger than the actual Earth, but that you can play with your friends on. You can all play together, and so it's probably limited to like North America. Different servers will have, you know, their own player caps, but presumably there could be hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of players on a single planet all playing together, which is really cool. It's a really interesting concept. I like it. They show rocks falling apart. Okay. And then the logo pole. And there we are with the guy standing on the thumb, and it's called Light No Fire. So, after seeing that trailer, what's the takeaway? My takeaway is that it's a cool concept. There's like some building, it looks like there's boats and stuff. There's a badger flying like hummingbirds. I don't know what you do in the game though. If this is like allowing you to build bases and stuff, that's okay, that could be fun. You see them building stuff, collecting wood and logs and everything. That could be cool, and maybe that's enough. I mean, it could be that this is purely like your standard survival game, and so you have to collect resources, you go, you build different stuff, and that's what it is. That's okay. Minecraft is built basically on that premise, and it's fantastic, you know, and extremely impressive. Maybe this is just like an evolution of Minecraft. That could be really, really cool. I'm open to it. But in terms of what we've actually seen of gameplay loops, there's almost nothing here. Like, yeah, you can break trees, build stuff. I mean, yeah, you can go around. There are like these dynamically placed things, so exploration is, I'm sure, a part of it. Discovering different things, maybe tying you into a little bit of a story that's kind of vaguely told. But there's really not much here to conclude what is happening or what you're supposed to do or how they keep you engaged for days, weeks, months, years of gameplay, right? So I think this is an interesting concept, but I don't think we have any information to actually make any sort of informed, I guess, conclusion. Like, this is one of those instances where you just simply say, oh, that's cool, we'll wait to see more. That's all you gotta do. I don't think it looks bad, but I don't think it looks particularly great. I think it's an interesting idea that we'll see if they can execute. With No Man's Sky, they did not execute it, and it took them years to build it up to the point where they delivered on most of what they had promised. But already, I mean, people are starting to lose track of this, okay? This trailer is at 5.9 million views. Basically took what they got good at with No Man's Sky and went ham to make it a whole ass game on one planet. Pretty cool, guys. I approve. This looks great. Take your time, guys. It's done when it's done. Approve. this looks very promising. I'm really interested to see how exploring such a world will be dealt with. Some random thoughts. I hope exploration is non-trivial, even challenging. I really love the idea of exploration being something that you must prepare for, commit to, and possibly fail rather than just being able to walk the park. It's a strength of Subnautica, totally agree. I hope the world will not be too filled with stuff, scarcity and empty areas make all that, yeah. I mean, Bethesda said that in those reviews, responses to reviews. It's like, well, the astronauts weren't bored when they went to the moon, so you shouldn't be bored. So, interesting, you know, people. Looks amazing, absolutely beautiful. Love you all. Cool, cool, cool. So, lots of people very, very excited. And I've started to get messages and people being like, oh, this looks pretty amazing. What are you going to say now? Somebody sent a message to me and they're like, so you've been pretty harsh on Sean Murray for No Man's Sky. I bet you feel pretty silly now after seeing Light No Fire. I'm like, oh my God, you're doing the thing. You're doing the thing. If we do a side-by-side look, this was put together by Random 5. People like, this guy took the two trailers and just put them side by side. And you come out of the water, you see the animals flying overhead, flashes of different biomes and areas, the forests. Like it's very close. It's very, very close, you know? I think it definitely looks way better, but again, like they don't have a great track record, okay? They've won back a lot of people, but this is a new game. This is something different than No Man's Sky. And it's being put together by a very small team, okay? And small teams aren't magic. This was the whole story of No Man's Sky, is that this is not, these guys are not magical. They don't have magical abilities. They are limited by the laws of physics, okay? So it's not going to magically change what 12 people are able to put together just because you're really hyped for it, okay? And in this case, there were a lot of scripted sequences that weren't in the game at launch, which, you know, was quite deceptive. I understand that they ended up like cutting a lot of stuff and it didn't work in the game, so they had to cut it. So they thought it was going to be in the game when they put it together, but you know, when they put the trailer together, but then they had to cut it. I get all of that. There are mitigating circumstances, but still, the perception to the players that it's just deceptive. I mean, to me, the trailers are pretty similar. The logos are also very, very similar. It makes me wonder if this is part of like the same universe, you know, like very similar vibe to the logos. I don't know if that's, but he took my thing. Red flag, red flag.
16 times the detail.
But somebody was asking me what was the most surprising and exciting thing for me at the Game Awards. For me, it was this. When I first saw this, I saw like the little creatures walking. I was like,
beasts,
oh,
no
no.
paths that you can't find on foot.
Because I mean, we had speculated maybe this was going to happen. We were saying, oh, it's possible. And then I saw the guy writing, I am a Stegosaurus. And then the big monsters. And I'm like, oh, no way. And they all look like they're running from something, right? They're all running. I was like, that's a big monster. Maybe we'll have to hunt it. And then the clouds come in. And then they showed traversal with a mount that can also fly. What? Capcom? Monster Hunter Wilds. Man. So, I'm very excited. Now, it's still a year and a half away, most likely. Maybe early 2025, so maybe just a little over a year, fingers crossed. But I think there's a reason this was like their big final announcement. Monster Hunter World was a massively successful game, and it's what got me into the franchise. And shout out to my buddy Corey, Because Corey has played Monster Hunter games since like way back in the way. By the way, Major Dookie Juice, thank you for resubbing with Prime. I don't think I missed it. I saw it. Thank you, my friend. He had played all of them going back to like the GameCube. And back in the day, apparently Monster Hunter was like pretty dang hardcore. So like if you played Monster Hunter World, you know that you have these big swords and stuff. And you use these to hunt monsters. Shocker, right? But they need to be sharpened as you do the hunt. The hunt can be like 30, 45, 50 minutes long, hunting one big beast as it gets injured and runs and flies away. Then you go trace it down. It's really, really cool. But your weapon gets blunted, so you have to sharpen it. And you do that with a whetstone. In Monster Hunter World, you just use a whetstone. Like you just have it. It's an action you perform. You select it on the radial wheel and you're good. Apparently back in the day with Monster Hunter games, like with the OG ones, you had to like go to riverbeds and find a whetstone or maybe like craft it, and they would break constantly and lose effectiveness, and then you'd have to go, and every little bitty thing involved with hunting these creatures was like micromanaged. So it was very much a simulation game, but it was a game where like the people who played it, almost all of them, but the average playtime was probably like 2,000 hours. If you played Monster Hunter, that was your thing because you had to like be an expert. But the level of detail that you can get to is crazy with some of these builds, because there's just a ton. Like you can see there are whole like spreadsheets and stuff people use to calculate out max damage and things, where they can figure out like what the possible min-maxed version of a certain armor set is, or certain damage type, because all of these different enemies and monsters have different move sets and different resistances and stuff. So like this one is,
hello everyone, Minnikins.
Let's see, from Yonda Bear Gaming. Dual high blade, high DPS, stay sharp, 100% affinity, 5.0 DB mixed set behemoth armors. So like the level of effort people go to min-maxing these builds is just crazy. And this is super intimidating, which is why shout out to my buddy Corey. He helped me like get into this and walk me through it, because he had played it when it was really hardcore. This is considered extremely dumbed down for OG Monster Hunter fans. So I got into it, and I still to this day, when I'm feeling blue and I just want to do something that's relaxing, I go murder some monsters. And ooh baby, it's a good time. So if you have not played Monster Hunter World, I encourage you to try it. It is a very good time, and maybe you will become an addict like me, and when we get Monster Hunter Wilds, you'll be all the more excited. As for what we can take away from this trailer, honestly, not very much. It's not like they show very much. Like they show a monster, Radagon or whatever it is, a bunch of little grunts, a big open area. There's not much to take from this other than the mount allows you to run around and fly and stuff, which is cool. My question is like, is this actually an open world Monster Hunter now? Because previously it's like you go to the Coral Highlands and that's its own little map. And then over here we have the forest and that's its own map. And so you can go to different maps, but they're not just one big world. People have been wondering if this next game is going to be an actual open world, like an actual world with a huge map and multiple biomes for you to go to. And when you want to go back to base, you actually have to physically travel there. And that's where you can do all of your maintenance stuff. And then you go back out to hunt and set up bases and stuff out there. I think it could be really, really cool and interesting to see. But as for whether that's what they're doing here, we just don't know yet. Like they'll have certain areas like this where you can see this is kind of like the world map, parent map, whatever. And then within that map, you go to an individual area and it's big like this. Like there's big-ish areas, but like it's not that huge. It's multi-leveled, so it's really vertical, but there's not a ton there. The worlds are dense, but you basically have like the ancient forest, Astera is kind of like home base, and then the Wildspire Waste, research base is actually home base, ignore me. Rotten Vale, Coral Highlands, Elder's Recess, and like those are the main areas. But people have been wondering, okay, well just get rid of these individual icons. Just give us that. Give us the whole map to explore without any limitations on loading to a new area or anything like that. It would require a lot more redesign because they'd have to then go and like, okay, how do missions work now? Because right now it's like you have 45 minutes or you have 50 minutes to complete this hunt on time. Otherwise, you fail. And so, how is that going to work? Do they still give you those time restrictions? Or do they open it up? You know? Yeah, fortunately, the newer version's a lot more streamlined. Yeah, and I think that's the difference. People hear streamlined and they hear, like, oh, it's been dumbed down. I don't think that's what it is. It doesn't have to be, at least. Streamlining is just, like, simplifying the steps, as far as I can tell. Like, you know what I'm going to do. You know what I'm going to do. I have to. So if the OG version of Monster Hunter was like this, and let's just say this is like the process of fighting a monster. Okay, so like right here, you find the monster, and then you go and you start attacking the monster, and then the monster runs off. So now it can diverge where like I actually now have to go and I have to sharpen this weapon, and in order to sharpen the weapon, I have to go and find a whetstone in a riverbed, and then I have to go do this over here because I have to find like the right type of handle for the weapon to repair it. Like, I'm not saying that this was in the game, but I'm just saying, like, if it's really complicated, there's all of these steps that are very complicated for you to do it. Like, I was talking to, again, my buddy Corey. He's playing Classic WoW right now, and he got that otter mount, which apparently is like extremely hard to do. He has this thing. In order to do it, let's see, you have to get the aquatic shades in order to get the next part of the secret. The toy is guaranteed drop from the immaculate sack of swag treasures, the best bag purchased from the great swag by a cave in the southeastern portion of the plains. The immaculate sack of swag treasure costs 1 gold coin, which can be very rarely fished or exchanged for 5 silver coin of the isles, which can be exchanged for 15 copper coins. So to obtain 1 gold coin, you have to get 75 copper coins. So he had to go fishing and get all those coins. And then he had to go and trade for that bag, which gives you the shades, which you then need to go and complete a puzzle. You go with those shades, and then you go to the walking shores. You find a mat and stand on it. Then you need to start dancing to get a debuff, dance till you're dead, which is like a 5-minute process. You have to stand there and dance for like 5 minutes before you get it. Then once the debuff expires after 5 minutes, you'll pass out and wake up by the hissing grotto in the waking shores. Next to a barrel, interact with it to loot the empty fish barrel. And then you go, once you have the barrel, it's time to fish. You'll be able to fill the barrel once you fish with the following fish. You need to fish the required fish in order to follow in the following order below and interact with your empty fish barrel once you complete each step. So you have to get 100 frigid flow fish, 25 calamitous carp, and 1 kingfin wise whisker fish. Jesus. And once you obtain all of that, you return to the hissing grotto. And then you leave the overflowing fishing barrel where you first found it. Once you found it, Otto will show up, give you a quick quest to obtain the mount. And then you get the mount. That's what you have to do to get this one item in the game. Insane. But he did all of that. So you can tell he's okay with grinding if he needs to. But like, that's the steps that it used to be for Monster Hunter if you wanted to do all of this crazy stuff. If you wanted to collect all of this madness, you had to go through all of these steps to get there. And then all of that's going to lead you, after even more steps as you go along, trying to complete the objectives to get this one thing. You arrive at the objective. What like Monster Hunter World did is that they went and they're like, okay, so you're hunting it, and then, you know, you chase it down, and then maybe you have to sharpen your weapon, and then you find it again, and then you start attacking it again, and then it flies off again, and then he's asleep, so then you attack it again, and then you maybe put down some barrels, blow it up, and then you kill it and carve it, and then boom, you've completed the quest. Love it. People might look at this and be like, oh, so this is way worse now. Like, this used to be way more complex and way more satisfying. But I don't look at it that way. Like, I look at all this and I'm like, this seems insane. This seems like crazy. Maybe you have time to do it. I look at that and I just shut down. Like, I'm like, okay. Because a lot of you probably heard me describing all that crap with this damn otter, and you're like, no thanks, dude. No thanks. I'm good. I don't need that otter that much. And that's, I think, where a lot of people are. They hear these barriers to entry or access, and they're like, honestly, I'm okay. Yeah, Crooked Vulture. All that for an otter? No thanks. Apparently he is like the best mount in the game because he can go between water and running and stuff seamlessly, I guess, but I don't really understand it. But with all this, like, you might hear that and shut down. And that's what a lot of people did with Monster Hunter when it was this complicated. They just shut down. So what Monster Hunter World did is they streamlined it, took out a lot of these elements over here that they thought were not necessary to the gameplay loop, that perhaps overcomplicated it, made it not that fun, were just tedious for the sake of tedium, and they cut all those steps out. And so then you're left with a straight line that's much more streamlined. And for some people, they hear that and they shut down. They're like, I don't want to do it. But for other people, it means it's much more accessible and they can get into the game finally. And that's where I was. I was never going to play this version of Monster Hunter because that's just too much for me to be able to justify the headaches. I'm one of those players, that level of grind is not that satisfying to me. I know some people get a huge dopamine payoff when they complete something really complicated like the otter, but for me, I don't get enough dopamine to justify all of this crap that you have to do to obtain it. He was grinding for like dozens of hours to get this one thing. And for me, I just don't, it doesn't do that for me. Like, I don't get that much of a happy payoff. But this, I'm much more about. I can live with this. This is like, okay, I did it for an hour. I grinded-ish for an hour to complete the objective, and then I did it. And now I'm happy. I got the pelt I needed, or I got the plate I needed for my armor. I'm good. Some people don't work that way. And that's okay. Maybe it's just because I have ADHD brain or something, and I can't focus that long. I don't know what it is. But I don't think it's bad for streamlining to occur, personally. I see it as like a way of opening a bigger door for more people to get inside. Some people are like, yeah, no, you let more people in, now it's not as special. And I can understand that, especially if you're like an OG fan and then they streamlined it so it's not like you're not that special anymore. It's the same thing with like if they were to make From Software games. Well, they kind of did this with Elden Ring, right? Where the game's previously super difficult, and then they allow summons. They created this summon system where you can bring in summons to help you fight the boss. And a lot of hardcore From Software fans were like, no, those are cheating. It's like, bro, they put it in their game. Hidetaka Miyazaki put this in the game. The guy that designed the game you love put it in there as a core mechanic. And you're saying it's cheating? How does that make any damn sense at all? It doesn't. That's the answer. But it was like they had taken something that made them special and then made it easier to access for everybody, and so they didn't like it. It's, you know, it's like, oh, well, I'm not as special anymore, you know? He took my thing!